Guys, this is your learning assistant for Biology 1009. Today I have a short video for the mechanisms of evolution. So there are four specific different mechanisms of the change. The first one is mutation, second one migration, genetic drift, and then the last one is the natural selection. As you all know, natural selection is not as same as evolution. It is like it shows here. It is one of the basic mechanisms of evolutionary change. So don't get confused when somebody says natural selection is evolution. That is wrong. Natural selection is a mechanism. So mutation, pretty straightforward. Um, it is a random process. Mutations can be positive, neutral, or negative for the organisms. And also, mutations do not try to supply what the organisms needs. So there's no demand or supply for mutation. So there's no such a thing like that in mutation. Migration, also straightforward. The movement of populations, groups, or individuals. So migration basically promotes the gene flow, which is the movement of genes from one population into another. So like a brown colored beetles can migrate into a white color beetle community. So when they move in, the frequency of the brown beetle in that white beetle community will increase because brown beetles just moved into the white beetle community. So movement of population, groups, or individuals is pretty much what migration is. Genetic drift, it is a change of the allele frequencies over time due to a random chance. So like I said, this is random chance. It does not happen by any plans. It happens due to a random chance, and it is usually found in a small population. So the smaller the population is, the more susceptible it is to the dramatic changes in allele frequencies due to genetic drift. So a good example can be so imagine that in one generation, two brown beetles happen to have four offspring survive to reproduce, and several green beetles were killed when a person stepped on them and had no offspring. So they died without any offspring. So the next generation would have a few more brown beetles than the previous generation, but by it just happened by a chance, a random chance. So stuff like this. So the change of the allele frequencies over time due to a random chance, that's what the genetic drift is. So yep, that's pretty much what it is. And the last one is natural selection. It is a process of the organisms with traits or phenotypes that are highly fit to the specific environmental conditions prospering to reproduce and survive. So a good example. So the good example can be that think about the green beetles are easier for birds to spot, and hence they get eaten pretty quick. But brown beetles are a little more likely to survive to produce offspring because they're not as spotted as green beetles by the birds. So the brown beetles pass their genes for brown color coding gene onto their offspring, onto their next generation. So in the next generation, the brown beetles are more common than in the previous generation. So natural selection, which same organisms can exist, but then whoever has the better trait for a specific condition, um, that organism with that specific gene will be more likely to pass that gene to the next offspring, to the next generation. So pretty much that's what the natural selection is. And yeah, this is pretty much all I have for the mechanisms of evolution. Remember, mechanisms of evolution are mutation, migration, genetic drift, and natural selection. Thank you.